Okay.
So welcome to me and Maeve's Fashion Roundtable. The concept for this roundtable is taking a look at the style that's known as hyperface. It's basically fashion that's being used to protect your identity. Um, there's been a lot of scandals with identification, like facial identification,
There's this whole theory within social media and just kind of like technology that the facial recognition on your phone is actually taking in your face, or the FBI is trying to get your information by looking at your face, or there's someone in your camera looking at you. So definitely this has to do a lot with safety.
Yeah, so in about mid 2013, a US national security agency contractor, his name was Edward Snowden, exposed the NSA and actually just let out a bunch of information about how much information the government can get from just your face.
Yeah. It's definitely still something that's being talked about. I just watched a movie last night where they mentioned Edward Snowden, and he was tried for treason, but he actually fled the country, so he's not even.
Yeah.
He's chilling somewhere.
And so this incident actually sparked a movement within the artistic community, and it created exposure for the amount of surveillance that's actually happening within today's society. So the artistic community took it upon themselves to create a fashion line that can protect your self-identity. So here's just a quote from the creator of this line called Hyperface. His name is Adam Harvey. So here's just a quote.
You want to read it?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so designers have a great responsibility in designing a better future. It's motivating to see more and more projects emerge with the goal of protecting us, as well as reminding us that our data and therefore our personality is out there and up for grabs at any time or anything. So that kind of just shows how the creative community kind of has
a really large role,
a responsibility to create the difference in our lives and to make things easier for us. And this is a issue that kind of gets overlooked and was just briefly looked upon when everything with Edward Snowden went down, and that whole scandal on social media about the FBI man looking in your camera, like I mentioned before. So it's definitely something that's kind of people are starting to notice, but it's actually a bigger problem than people lead on. So
So the ability to share certain things about ourselves and our personality and keep other things private is, I think, a part of what makes us human, and it's a right that we have to just not share everything that we do all the time, you know?
Yeah, and it's one thing when we're on social media, we like to share our location, we like to share what we're doing at all times, but in reality that is out there, and it's constantly out there, and it stays out there. Even if you delete a post, it's still floating somewhere back in the internet realm. Anything could always be picked up or traced up. Anything you've said, anything you've done.
And the scary part is that it's all traced back to you, and that's why when people say, "Oh, be careful what you post on social media,"
and people kind of just take that for granted. Nobody really is just okay, I'll look at what I post, but it is true. Everything is really tracked, and I think that was kind of their motivation behind making this line.
So basically what this line consists of is just things that cover your face but you can see through, people can't see in. There was a scarf created that uses a pattern that confuses the technology. So they have little pixels, and it's depicted as almost faces. So when your face is recorded through a facial recognition system, it just confuses that technology, and they can't trace you.
So do you want to start with some questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So within today's political climate, surveillance is a global issue that concerns almost everyone that lives in a Western culture, especially. So would you buy these products to protect your identity, and do you believe this issue concerns you?
I would say it definitely concerns me. It concerns almost everyone that uses social media.
I'm saying it concerns everyone, but recognizing the fact that it does concern you is the extra step. Because you're not totally worried about what your camera is doing to you. You're worried about, I have homework, or I have this. You have other things to worry about. You have bigger things to worry about, like global warming or whatever. You don't really take the time to realize how important this issue actually is. And I think that's kind of just what they're trying to stress to you. Like, here's a product that does this, and now that you know that there's a product for this that exists, maybe you'll start thinking about this issue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I probably wouldn't like.
I don't think I would spend my money to
purchase-
buy
yeah.
it. It really depends on how scared I am about this issue, which is not that much. But like the fact that these things, like I said, are being created, it kind of sets off that little warning in your brain where you're like,
oh, I should be aware.
maybe I should be more aware about
Yeah.
this issue. Maybe it's bigger than I think it is. So.
So would you feel the need to purchase items? No, we kind of went through that.
No.
Do you think that people that purchase these items have something to hide, or do you believe that they are simply just protecting privacy?
I think you could be protecting privacy, but I think you have to be like concerned about this issue to an extent that you want to go that far to protect your privacy. Like if you have something to hide, it's probably a good idea to buy it. Like I think that was a good idea if you were trying to rob a bank or do whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's probably a smart choice on your part. But like I don't know, someone would have to be pretty paranoid about facial recognition. Like if you don't have something to get out about you, then why are you scared? You know what I mean? So it really depends on the person, I'd say. So the fact that this problem has become such an issue give us a look into the type of society that we consider to be dystopian. Would you consider our modern day society to be dystopian?
So basically what dystopian kind of means is it's the opposite of a utopia. So a utopia is happy and everything is going great. And then a dystopia is a place where like everything is kind of sketchy, or like the government has control over things. It's like, for example, like the Hunger Games, that is based in a dystopian society. It's something where it's government run, the poor are really dirt poor, the rich are rich.
And everything is kind of controlled for you, like
Yeah.
to live. I don't think we've totally reached the Hunger Games point, but we're definitely on our way there. I don't know if it really can be prevented with the like how much the government is in charge of our lives and how much technology plays a massive role. Like if we're accepting this technology into our life, like we gotta accept that like privacy is not going to be like a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like obviously you have your secrets to yourself and everything, but like your face, social media, if you're putting your face out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
That's our own decision within ourselves. Like we don't have to have Instagram downloaded, we don't have to have a phone, but because that technology is available to us, we're choosing to do that.
We choose that sort of lifestyle. I mean, a lot of people who are on Instagram, on Snapchat, I don't know, on their computer constantly, are not aware of the amount of surveillance that actually is happening when we do post our location or we post where we are, you know.
I actually did a project on Google Homes last year in my philosophy class, and I learned that when you speak to the Google Home, or it's kind of like an Alexa, like if you speak to it, it actually records what you're asking it and records their answer, and you can go back and look at what you've asked them. It has like on your personal login, it has on Google, it literally has your voice recorded and everything you've asked from the time that you've bought it to now, which really freaked me out because I have Google Homes in my home, and it's like, what if I was asking something weird? Are you listening to me? Like there's definitely somebody listening to that. Or it's kind of also how like in advertisements where some people have done things where they've talked about something near their computer, and then all of a sudden an advertisement has come up on their computer. Like everything is being constantly watched or tracked. Even if you search something, like if I search dog food ads are going to come up on my page. But the fact that we're even just speaking about it and people have that happen to them is crazy.
Yeah.
So
so the next question is, have you personally ever taken extra measures to ensure your security and privacy? So I would honestly say no.
like some people choose to have like cameras in their house or like alarm systems. I don't really have that. I have a code on my door for when I go home, but other than that, and nobody knows it, so I have that privacy, but I don't I've not done anything really for myself, which is kind of sad once you like think about it. Like we're not really doing that much to protect ourselves.
Especially for myself, like on social media, I don't really protect privacy on social media. Sure, like I have a password, but like my Instagram account is public. Like
same as mine.
Yeah, like I don't really take.
It's kind of a trend to have everyone looking at you, especially with the idea of being like Instagram famous and like being a celebrity. Like everyone wants to be rich and famous and have all the Instagram followers and look at what I'm doing, look where I am now. So you are constantly being watched.
Yeah.
So, what does this fashion trend or statement tell us about our society?
I think the fact that we need clothing to protect our identity and protect like our privacy
It's
and
kind
like
of a joke.
it's kind of that's really weird. That's super like
Like, why should we have
Yeah.
to protect our face, like, for no reason, really? Like,
Yeah, and
why? What is that information? What are you doing with that information? Like, what are you using my face recognition
yeah.
for? Like, where is it going? Who is buying that? Who is looking at it? Like, it is really creepy when you take, like, a bigger look at it.
yeah, I think it's like almost something out of like a movie or a book where you like people need to be wearing patterned scarves to throw off technology that's gonna track their face. Like it almost seems unreal.
And it's definitely a problem. Like, once we sat down and addressed it, like, I can definitely see it becoming a larger issue as time goes on. But we still don't take it seriously. We still wish we had Instagram followers. People still like post whatever they want, like, just in the open. Like, I know even for me, like, if I search my name on Google, like, my old profile pictures from Facebook from like
me
6th grade come up, and it's like, I deleted those. How are those still there? Like,
it's same
it's
with like
always
yeah,
there.
it's same with even Snapchat when people have their Bitmoji character on SnapMap. Like that's constantly tracking your location. Like
you can see other people's location now, which I thought was really weird when it came out, and now all of a sudden I'm just used to it. Like, it's just, oh, I know where my friend lives. I know where my friend is right now. Kind of, it's just a really like
strange concept.
Interesting concept, and I think that's why we chose it.
Yeah.
Basically, just because, like, in conclusion, like, it's something that we haven't really discussed in class. It has to do with fashion versus function. Like, we're making something fashionable, but something that functions for our privacy as well, which is interesting to note. And I think it was just a really interesting topic.
And just one more quote from this article is that clothing has always protected us against possible threats from the biosphere. Why not the infosphere? That nearly invisible network of connectivity in which we are proven to be vulnerable.
So I think that's really interesting too.
Yeah, I think it's really important to like note that like, oh, this jacket like protects me from the cold.
The word vulnerable. Like, we are very, very vulnerable on social media and on the internet in general. Like, it's a very scary world once you really dive into it. And it's really scary because it is an invisible network. It is something that we can't just grab and change. It's something that, like, it's kind of out of our control, except for our own personal selves. But, you know, we can't change the way the internet works. We can't change who's tracking our faces. We can't do this, but, you know, we can make smarter decisions.
And we can just be wary of this problem.
Yeah, just be aware of what's going on around us and what's going on in the technology world. I think that's basically how to deal with this problem, and just be more aware is just the main message from this round table. Yeah.